Okay, Algebra 1, I'm making a video this morning. Tawny wanted some help, so I should have done this on Friday, and I apologize for not getting it done before now, but here you go. I'm going to start out with a couple of the graphs, like on the first section. Remember, on the entire assignment, you are writing the equation in slope-intercept form and telling me the slope and the y-intercept. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m equals your slope and b equals your y-intercept. Okay? So we look at our graph and we just figure out what the slope is, and we do that by counting the rise over run from the two dots that they give us. So it goes up to here, so our rise is 2, and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the run is 4, and it's an up line, so Slopman's going up the hill, so the slope is 1/2. All right, so I'm going to put that in the equation. So instead of m, I now have 1/2 x. And then I look at my y-intercept, and remember that's where the y, or where the line crosses the y-axis, and it does that right here at this point, which is 1, 2, 3, positive 3, so we write plus 3. So we just wrote the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. That's that, so that's one answer, and then you're just going to name the slope and the y-intercept, so you'd write m equals 1/2, b equals 3. And there's the 3 points that you would have on that problem. So looking at the next one, excuse me, again we're going to do the slope. I'm going to go ahead and write this out again, y equals mx plus b. Remember, we're looking for m, which is your slope, and so we go start at one point, the point furthest to the left, and we count the slope. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rise is 4, and the run is 1. So it's 4 over 1, but since Slopeman would be going down the hill, it's negative 4 over 1. So since that's a whole number, we're just going to write y equals negative 4x, and then we look at where the line crosses the y-axis, and it's actually supposed to be, because if we were to go do our slope again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, it should have been right here. I didn't draw my line very well. So that is where it crosses, right there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's negative 5, so it's negative 4x minus 5. Okay? Now your lines are obviously going to be drawn straight, so it'll be easy to tell where it crosses the y-axis. And then I'd write m equals negative 4 and b equals negative 5 for my slope and my y-intercept. And those would be my 3 points right there on that one. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Now let's look what happens when you have just the equation of the line and you need to put it in slope-intercept form. So here, if we look at this example, we'll call it example 1, you're going to be solving for y, so you're trying to get the y by itself on the left side and putting it in the form y equals mx plus b. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3x to this side to make that go away. I'll draw my line here. I'm going to add 3x to this side. Now 3x and 10 are not like terms, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scooch the 10 over and put the 3x right after the equal sign. That way it's in this form. And then that's a positive 10, so I'm going to write plus 10. Now I need to get the y by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2. That cancels that out. Divide this by 2 and divide this by 2. So I end up with y equals, and I'm going to write this as just a fraction with the x after it, 3 over 2x plus 5. So here, after doing that, I now can see what my slope is. So I'm going to write m equals 3 over 2 and b equals 5. And I got that because the slope is right there in front of the x. So you have this point for the equation of the line, and then you have these 2 points for the y-intercept and the slope. So let's look at the next example. I'm going to erase a little bit of this so we can see a little better. Alright, so now here's my equal sign. I didn't draw it very well. So if I draw my line down there, I'm going to think about getting the y by itself. So the first thing I would do is I would subtract 2 from both sides, and I would end up, I'm going to move this because that's not going to be enough room. I'll move it like that. I'm going to end up with negative y minus 3x equals 2. Now I'm going to add 3x to both sides, so I'm going to put the 3x over here, and now I have negative y, and move it again, equals 3x plus 2, like that. So all I did was I put the 3x up in front of the 2 before the equal sign, that way it's in the y equals mx plus b format. I couldn't have combined like terms because 3x and 2 are not the same. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Okay, and so this is not in slope-intercept form yet because if you notice the y is a negative and we want the y to be positive. So it's like a -1, so I'm just going to think about dividing by -1. Another thing you could think is you're just changing the sign of every term in the equation. So this becomes negative 3x and this becomes -2. So then we would need to write out what the slope is. So slope equals -3 and then y-intercept equals -2. So you'd have, sometimes my pen doesn't work very well, so you have slope and y-intercept right there, and then the equation of the line in slope-intercept form right there. So let's look at this next example. If that was number 2, then this one is number 3. And if you see, just by looking at it, your y is already by itself on the left side, so it's already in slope-intercept form. There are some of them on there that are like that, and you're just going to be naming the slope and y-intercept from it. So since it's already done, we have the y, we have the something x, and then the something after it. So I'm going to look at this, I'm going to look, what is my slope? My slope is what's in front of the x, so my slope is -5. The y-intercept is what's at the end, so my y-intercept is -6, and that's all we have to do with those. So now let's look at y equals -4. I'm actually going to go ahead and move to the next page because there's not much over here. We'll do this one first. So if it's a y equals -4 line, there's no x in it, which means that it is a horizontal line that crosses the y-axis. And you guys should know by now that a horizontal line means that we have a slope of 0. And since it's a y line that's going to be horizontal, then it's going to cross the y-axis at this point. So the y-intercept is -4. And that's it. You don't have to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form because it was already a y equals line. So these are your 2 points on that one. Now let's look at x equals 6. Since it's an x equals line, you know that it's a vertical line, and vertical lines cross the x-axis, which means they do not cross the y-axis. And vertical lines, remember, those are when slope man dies, so these are undefined, which means that our slope is undefined. And our y-intercept, because it will never cross the y-axis, we would just write none, because it never crosses the y-axis, so there's no y-intercept. And that's it. I hope that's enough help. Obviously, let me know if you have any questions. Tawny, I hope that was good for you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.